One.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Southern Arizona Sports Talk. I'm your host, Raul, and before we get into the show, I want to do a couple announcements real quick. Andy Lopez will now be in an in-person interview Friday at 8:30 next week. Anytime you can have a Hall of Famer in person, hey, you got to do it. The second announcement, anytime you have two teams that historically do not like each other at a football game on Friday Night Lights, especially on homecoming, you know it's going to be a crazy game. That's where we'll be this Friday at Pueblo High School versus Choya High School for their homecoming. Next announcement. Anytime there's baseball going on in Tucson or in Southern Arizona in general, you know I got to cover it. That's because baseball is my original love. And we will be at Keno Sports Complex for the Mike Acevedo tournament for Championship Sunday. Lastly, not so much of an announcement, more of a representation of what today represents. Many of you know today's 9/11. You can remember what it was like waking up to the towers being hit, watching on the news or the radio. My heart goes out to anyone that lost a loved one during 9/11, and also a thank you to all the first responders that risked their lives to try to save as many people as they can. I think we also have to remember what days after 9/11 represented. Being able to come together as a country and be united. And I think that's something we really need to get back to. Especially with the election season going on, we need to stop seeing people as enemies, more just American and being proud to be Americans. And I think that's a really good way to introduce our first guest, who is a proud American, who is an Army veteran, who served 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, Andy Behrens. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Our next guest, who is an absolute... anyone that knows anything about MMA, they have this thing called the BMF Championships. This man is a definition of what a BMF is. He's the owner of Erie Jiu-Jitsu. He had a record of 5-1 in MMA, and he's just an absolute stud. He's also my cousin, Phillip Aguilar. How you doing, brother?
Sir, ready to go, brother. How are you?
Shh. All right, thank you guys for both being here. We're gonna start off with kind of like question about MMA right now. Who y'all got this weekend, O'Malley or Merab?
Ooh, that's a good one, man. I don't know. I think this is a newer generation, man. So I haven't been doing a good job of like keeping up with who's who, but I do like O'Malley. He's Arizona guy, so I'm gonna stick with my Arizona guy on this one.
You gonna go with O'Malley?
Yeah, man.
What about you, brother?
O'Malley. Arizona, man.
Oh, come on, man. You guys are the OGs of freaking sports, and you're going for someone like O'Malley?
I know. I do like, I forget his name, but he's from Poland, right?
Yeah.
But he represents like the Mexican flag, like he does.
But you know why he did that, though, right?
Why?
Because freaking Cejudo was such a dork about freaking not wanting to represent Mexico. So when they fought, he decided like, oh, I'm just gonna bring the flag in this.
Yeah, that's pretty dope though. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be an exciting fight. So we'll see.
Freaking wrestling's the name of the game right now. I think Murav's gonna kill him with that, man.
Yeah, that's always the secret power that
It's the hair, man. It's his hair.
Shh, that's a hair transplant. That's fake hair, man.
Yeah.
But so one thing about you both, you guys are both gym owners. Right now, your lives kind of lined up to being the same, but the way you guys entered in jiu-jitsu and combat sports is a lot different. So what I'm asking you guys, how did you get into jiu-jitsu for you? And then how did you get into the wrestling room at Tucson High? And then Phil, you want to start?
Yeah, so, I started, I was a baseball kid just like you, man. Yeah. And then after high school...
I got to ask you this. What feels better, hitting a home run or choking someone out? or submitting someone in the cage? Because not many people, like I said, you're a cage veteran too, man.
I'll tell you what, man. I love baseball, but I think getting the finish, putting somebody down or making them say uncle, that's the best feeling in the world, man. Baseball is a team sport, and it's always good to be on a team. But yeah, it's just with that one-on-one thing is an amazing feeling. So
awesome.
But as far as me getting into jiu-jitsu, I was this skinny little scrawny kid coming out of high school, started working out with a buddy at the YMCA downtown, and he started doing like a kickboxing class. And, he was like, come on, let's try it. I was like, whatever, let's try it. Because I always liked martial arts. I was like Van Damme and watching all those movies when I was a little kid. So
watching the Pride fight.
Yeah, man. Well, not even yet. I didn't even know anything about that. Yeah, I was like 19. And then I tried it, and then that's when he got me hip to like the Pride and watching like the old school UFC on the VHS.
Do you remember what your like first fight watching was?
I think he probably showed me Hoist Gracie. Yeah.
Ooh, the OG.
I know, man. And I was like, why is that dude just hugging him? He's not really. But like I didn't know then, right? Because it just there's like so many things going on. And then I was like, oh man, I like that because I like kickboxing, but I was like, man, I need to learn that stuff. And then yeah, man, that's when I started looking around. Like in the yellow pages, there's no Google back then when I was 19. So
yeah, because there was only like 3 jiu-jitsu gyms at the time too.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in town. There's no black belts either. I think at that time there was probably only 1 black belt in Arizona, maybe 2. So called up the gym, went over there, and never stopped training, man. That was it. That was my.
And you actually went to, when I did my research, you actually went to a different gym and they weren't open or something.
Yeah. So there was another gym, which is the rival gym in town, and that I had called. The coach was like, yeah, man, come by, and this is the time practices that. So I went over there, waited outside. I saw a couple people waiting too. I was like, the gym's not open yet. And so I was like, man, this isn't for me. I'm going to call the other gym. So I called the other gym. They're like, yeah, man, we're going to practice right now. Come over. So I went over there, which is like 5 minutes down the road, 10 minutes down the road. And they had a whole mat room and full of people. And I was like, heck yeah, this is what I want to do. So,
you ever think how crazy it would have been if you would have been at that first
dude, I
gym?
think about that all the time, man. Because that other gym, I mean, they're both good gyms, but that other gym is pretty good too, man. So I always wonder, like, how that would have worked out. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just that's just the way that life went. So that was meant to be.
Hey, you're gonna be where you're meant to be, man.
Yeah,
and then going to Andy now, because so I know a lot about your journey at Tucson, the wrestling program. How the heck did you end up there your sophomore year, man? Because I know you didn't wrestle your freshman year, right?
No, I did not wrestle my freshman year. I started my sophomore year, and it was the wrestling coach came over, Coach R.
Yeah,
and
everyone knows who Coach R is, but for safety reasons, we're gonna just call him Coach R.
Coach R came over to the football team. I was playing football. Football was my number 1 sport. I've been playing it since I was a kid, and came over. Hey, try out wrestling. You're getting in shape for football. Blah blah blah. So I was like, all right, I'll try it out. So I remember going into the first day of practice, and I wanted to quit on the last day, right after.
Was part of you just like, oh man, this dude's too tiny to be a wrestling coach?
And I was like, oh man. Second day, it was worse than the first day. And then being sore, I wanted to quit. So I told my dad, I go, hey, I don't want to do this no more. He's like, you need to finish what you started. And I was like, all right, cool. So I finished what I started. And my sophomore year, I wrestled off for varsity, made the team, and I won 1 match my sophomore year.
Oh, shoot.
1 match. That was it. I had a losing streak. I was maybe my first 12, 13 matches.
God, you suck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I didn't know anything.
One thing you know about the world of jiu-jitsu, we're all shit talkers. So you're going to hear some of that today.
Yeah. Again, going in, so I liked it. I liked the sport of wrestling. I had it figured out. So I continued to wrestle year-round freestyle and to get better. My junior year, I just had a winning season, missed state by 2 points, and I continued to wrestle. And going into my senior year, made it to state. I didn't place. I lost to a state champ in the opening round, and I didn't place, but I just continued to wrestle.
Yeah, but I don't know about your story. You beat the crap out of the guy you lost to, and he couldn't even finish after that, right?
Yes, that is correct.
'Cause it was like an 8-6 OT match or something like that.
Yes, and I think he blew his knee or his shoulder. It was something like that where he couldn't continue on into the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I went from there, wrestled, got out, and I continued wrestling, and I ended up going to a small college in northwestern Iowa, NAIA, wrestled there, red-shirted, and then when I was getting ready to go back, they closed the school down.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so I came back, ended up wrestling for Pima College, for Joe Solorio, and then...
was Mike and Coach R already there at that point, or?
Coach Augie was not there. Mike was popping in once in a while. Ed Carrasco was our assistant coach, but I was with Coach Smith from Pueblo, the Pueblo coach. Coach Gonzalez, he's a Walden Grove coach. We're all on the same team, just to name a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from there, it's a long story how I got into everything. Very long story. After I got out, I ended up joining the Army, and
let me ask you this, because I know a little bit. Like I said, how much of an impact did wrestling make on your life? Because, like, not saying anything bad, but I heard you were kind of a soft kid back in the day. Then all of a sudden you get into wrestling, and now how you are, like, everyone tells me freaking, the thing about Andy, it no matters if you have a gun to his head, he'll probably still be like, dude, mother effer, I got you. I'm going to kick your ass eventually.
Yeah.
So how did wrestling really turn you into that person?
It was just I would say the mental part of again, not quitting, and then the Coach R just putting that pressure on you, you know.
Not always in a good way, right?
No, not always in the good way. Not to lose, be stingy, not to give up points, not to just look to score, you know, and just like I said, not to quit. Just keep moving. And then every opponent that you went up against, it was just like make sure that they don't want to go up against you ever again. And over the years, I developed that. And yeah, like I said, I could tell you some stories, which we'll get into in a little bit. Yeah. But like I said, go back, fast forward a little bit, join the Army. I still was coaching a little bit of wrestling there. And then went to Iraq, my first tour. Came back. We're in Kuwait for the last month, just waiting to go back home. And there was a guy that was doing jiu-jitsu.
Oh, shoot.
And since I used to wrestle and he did jiu-jitsu, I started training with him. So I kind of was like, that was my little bit of taste of jiu-jitsu.
Ooh. What did you think at first? Because, like, I know, like, my dad being a wrestler going to jiu-jitsu hated it because you could be on your back.
Right.
And then, like, when my dad used to wake me up at 8:30, or no, like in the middle of the night if he saw me sleeping on my back.
Yeah.
Because that was his mindset. He's like, you don't go on your back. You don't go on your back.
Yeah, that's pretty much what your Coach R would do. He was like, oh, if you can't, you got to sleep on your side. That's how it was. Anyway, yeah, we're in Kuwait now, getting ready to go home. I started learning a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and I was getting my butt kicked. I would take the person down, but then once I got him to the ground, I would like,
what's going on?
What do I do? What do I do? You know. I came back out, came back to the United States, back to the U.S., and I became a combatives instructor for the U.S. Army. So that was an introduction to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It was all basic stuff.
And that's basically where you're teaching, like, hand-to-hand combat, right?
Yes, hand-to-hand combat. Went to school, and you start teaching it to your troops. Okay, and like I said, it's just basic stuff. Rear naked chokes, Americanas.
Yeah, you were naked?
Yeah, just get naked once in a while. Yeah, so did that, and then they have combatives tournaments, stuff like that. You know, go back into my second tour, same thing, teaching it to your troops.
Yeah.
We're over in Iraq. We're still, you know, we'd mess around with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More combatives, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So combatives, the tournaments, that's like MMA, it's everything. That's MMA.
Yes. So the combatives tournament, a U.S. Army All-Army combatives tournament is, I would say 4 or 5 rounds. Maybe 5 rounds of, it's grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, score, same as jiu-jitsu, scoring points, 2 points, passing guard, 3 points, et cetera, et cetera. You submit your opponent. Once you go through those rounds, if you continue to win, then you go pancreations. So we know what pancreation is.
Yeah.
It's open hand punching, close fist to the body. And it was 3 rounds of those. If you made it, there were 10-minute straight fights. Once you make that, you go into a cage fight. So you'd go into the cage.
So gradually just gets crazier as you go.
Exactly. So the tournament, it was usually 2 days or 3 days. And by that last day, you're fighting in a cage. The top 4 people were in a cage fight.
And then you got third in 2007, right?
Yeah, 2009 or 2010. I think it was 2010. 2010, I got it. I got third.
And that's something similar. You and Phil both. That is that walk to the cage.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this, Phil. What was it like? Because this is what. Tell me if this is true or not. I heard you started jiu-jitsu, and then in 9 months you're in an effing cage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who told you that was a good idea? Because nowadays you can't even get in the cage unless you're a blue belt.
Yeah. Well, and that's when I got my blue belt. So like, I was a kid that had a lot of time on his hand. So if I wasn't at school part-time, and if I wasn't at my part-time job, I was training. I literally trained morning and night for 9 months. You know, hard training. And I was doing pretty well. You know, I had some other teammates that were fighting, and you know, eventually I was used as the dummy, right, to help them get ready. And then you know, I started doing okay with them, and holding my own, and they're like, "Hey man, you could probably get in there yourself." I was like, "Really?"
Because back then, everyone that was in there was no such thing as like white collar jiu-jitsu. It was just everyone was there was going to fight.
You did jiu-jitsu to fight. You did jiu-jitsu to fight, and it was the style of jiu-jitsu at the time where, there wasn't like anything sport jiu-jitsu about it. It was, hey, we're gonna take them down, we're gonna pass, and we're gonna smash their face and kind of, and then that's good. You got to know that stuff too. But yeah, man, like first cage fight, like you were kind of leading up to, walking up to that cage, man, is a trip. Like you got these guys in the back warming up, right? And they got the tattoos and the Chuck Liddell mohawk and trying to look bad, and they're throwing up in the corner, or one's crying, and I'm like, what? Let's go. Am I gonna die out there? What's going on? So, in the traditional, jiu-jitsu fighter style, I walk up, with my gi on and stuff, and
how long did it take you to shoot for a takedown?
Oh man, right away, bro, right away. And I'm not like this guy. I learned wrestling when I started jiu-jitsu. So not only did I start jiu-jitsu, just grappling overall. When I started, it was the wrestling. It was all that. So, Augie, Mike, all those guys helped me out later on when they joined the team.
Because they weren't there yet.
They weren't there yet. Yeah, they weren't there yet at the team. So, a lot of the stuff was very basic, rudimentary takedowns. And I was a pretty athletic kid then, so I kind of picked some. I had a pretty good quick shot, even though it was horrible. But yeah, man, right away, because we did boxing, we did stuff for stand-up. It was more like, hey, we're gonna parry, or we're gonna, maybe throw a combo so they put their hands up, and then we can shoot in and, get the takedown. Because that was always the goal. We were never looking
take them down, submit them, right? Quick as you can.
Yeah, that's it. So
let me ask you this too, because this is funny, because we have the same family, man,
yeah.
And we both know there's not many people that are. Everyone's super nice. Like you think of Edgar, my uncle, my grandma. They're all super nice people. Then there's me and you that enjoy punching people.
I know, man.
So what was their reaction when you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna go fight in a cage"?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think it was like surprising for my family. Like I was telling you earlier, man. Like I always was into like martial arts. It's funny. This is a cool little family story, but or the little cousins. Whenever we would go over and hang out, I was like the older cousin, so I would have the littler cousins in the room.
Which cousin did you say?
So like Christina and Gabriella, Anna's daughters and stuff, and then my little sister Linda, and some of the other cousins, Marcus. But anyways, we'd go and I'm like, "Come on, guys, let's play, let's wrestle." And then what I would do, they didn't even know, is I would put them into like a little mini like cage fight. And they would fight each other. Like, no kidding, bro. Like, I would have.
So you're the one that brought violence to the family.
I did. And, I got my sister and my cousin fighting. And then they would all fight each other. And then at the end, whoever won would have to fight me. Right? Because I was
you were doing a whole UFC tournament in your house.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, man, I was already doing that before. But yeah, I don't think it was surprising to the, like, especially my thought that would be like, he knows how. Like I'm just like him,
And he's a veteran as well, too.
He's a vet. Yeah, he's a vet. He's a very smart man. Like he's kind of like your dad, man. He got his college degree at ASU, and he got his master's.
Let me stop you right there, brother. I'm getting the signal for ads, so we will be right back after these ads.
Oh.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster, and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you come. Legendary like all my idols. coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
Show is sponsored by D's Barbers, one of the best barbershops in town. With the weekend coming up, you're always trying to look fresh. Make sure you go check out my dude, Dave, at D's Barbershop, 1842 West Grant Road. Go check him out. You. Okay, we are back, and we're going to go back to you. So you're saying that no one in the family was surprised you ended up in the cage?
I don't think so, man. I think the only person that I know had an issue with it was like my mom. You know, typical mom.
Yeah.
She would go to my fights. I kid you not, man. Like, she would have a rosary with her, and she'd be praying. I was like, God, calm down, Mom. But nah, it wasn't a surprise. Like, I think they were waiting for something crazy like that to happen from me.
Yeah.
But
and how was did you have any experience just doing straight cage fighting, or was it just combat?
No, I just had the combat, the Army combatant. By the time I started doing it, I was doing a little jiu-jitsu already.
Yeah.
So I had like somewhat of a...
What was your mind getting into that cage,
okay,
man?
the first time getting into the cage is the same thing. You have everyone warming up. You had all the soldiers in the back warming up. And then you had music. Hey, what kind of music do you want? I don't know. Just put some music on. Yeah, it was like kind of, they'd walk you
like,
out.
Mom said knock him out.
So I'm nervous. You know what I mean? I'm really nervous. And, of course, they shut the lights out, and you go out, there's a little spotlight on you. And all of a sudden, I'm like, and so instead of getting warmed up, ready to go, and I'm like, what am I doing here? That's what my mind was going through when I was in the cage. I'm like, what am I doing here? Yeah. And I'm watching. I could see everybody in the stands, but it was weird. Once you get in the cage, you can't really see anybody. It felt like you were enclosed, so it kind of changed a little bit. And of course we shake hands. They start the fight, and I remember getting hit, and it hurt. I didn't like getting hit in the face. I was like, ow. And
not many people like it, man.
No, and I was like, and you hear, once that first hit, and then it's on. Yeah. It was just different. So then you're swinging, you're hitting.
Did it piss you off a little bit more? Yes. Like, I'm gonna freaking hurt you now.
Yeah, it was just a wake up call. Yeah. Okay, he's in here to kill me, So we went in there and hit him back, and I knew how to wrestle. I was able to take him down and then spin around, and I was able to choke him out. It was in the first round.
With the naked choke?
Yeah, with the naked choke.
Sick.
We were naked. Yeah.
You basically are, man. That's how it is. You're just in freaking basically underwear, no shirt fighting, bro.
So, it was just, it just felt weird, man. It felt weird being in the cage,
How many times did you do it? Just once?
I did two.
Two?
2 cage fights.
Okay. You're going to do one again? Be a Randy Couture?
Let's go, man. Let's do it.
I don't like getting hit in the face.
Ooh, is that what we're saying? You guys want one more? Hey.
You got one more. I don't have any more. I'm too old.
It's a chance for you to get back in the ring?
Oh, man. Don't even start with that.
Come on, man. People fight at 40. Hey, Rise of Prospects. Yeah, Rise of Prospects is in November, man.
Just saying.
I know the producer over there, man. We can get it done.
Hey, you know what? I was telling, I don't think I told you. I think I told Manny or somebody. I was like, it's like that old Rocky movie, not old, but the Balboa movie where he's like, man, I got one in the basement. I got a monster in the basement still. So maybe, I don't know.
How long has it been since you fought? Like 2000?
It was like 2009. Come on, man.
Damn, how long has that monster been in there, bro?
I know.
That's 15 years.
That's 15 years. I can still do it.
But I want to see it, man. Do you know what? If you do that, you got to convince Manny and Mike to fight. Because I want to see Mike finally. So when I told Mike what I was going to do after I was done with baseball.
Like in the Tata division or what?
You guys can do it.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't. Henzo Gracie fought at 51, man.
That's true. He did do that. That's true.
I forgot Mike. I forgot you're a lot younger than Mike, too.
Yeah,
So
come on, bro. Yeah, man.
Hey.
And then Randy Couture, I think he started like at 38 or something like that.
40, man.
40?
He won his first UFC championship at 42 years old.
See?
So, dude, you can... I mean, I think the record right now is 47. So you got 6 years to be a UFC champ, man.
Let's go.
47, man.
Huh?
I'm 47.
Yeah, you're old.
You can still go to the Ultimate Fighter, man.
Yeah.
Tender Series. So, one of the cool things about this show is I get to interview a lot of people that have some really good thoughts. And one of the best things I've heard on the show so far is being a head coach. you should not be wanting to save lives, or you should not be wanting to get the wins. Your wins are saving lives. And with you right now, you have a huge kid program.
Yeah.
So what's it like? Because essentially you're a head coach. What's it like having an impact on so many kids right now? And what's your kind of goal for the kids program in general?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's such a cool feeling. You know, I never thought it would blow up like this. Like I was telling you earlier, we're not even accepting any new students right now. That's how huge we are. It's cool, man, because, you know, kids come and go. You know, life happens. They get involved with other things. But just if I can have these kids leave with some sense of, you know, hey, I can protect myself if something went down. I think that's like the biggest win for me. You know, of course, I'm there to like almost kind of be like a third parent to them. You know, they look
role
up
model
to me.
in their lives.
Yeah. You know, and I have a lot of kids that talk to me that feel like they can't talk to their parents or talk to me about stuff that they can't talk to their parents about, and that's fine. You know, I have no problem doing that. Like I like that they have they're comfortable enough to talk to me like that, you know. So not only can I affect people or kids rather outside of jiu-jitsu, but if there's anything that I can do to help them out, you know, just in life in general, or hey, this girl or this boy, or you know, whatever, you know what I mean? It's such a cool feeling. But the only thing, like I always say, and I say this in like all the interviews I do, whenever a kid happens to, you know, get involved with some type of like bullying, or you know, something's going to happen to these kids, you know, and when they're in school, you know, there's these anti-bully weeks, and there's, you know,
that really doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to defend yourself, though.
And so every kid is going to get affected by some way, shape, or form of bullying, right? Whether it's physical or whatever. So if it comes down to it, because it eventually will, whether it's in elementary, middle school, or high school, or all three, you know, are you going to want them to remember what they learned in gymnastics, or are you going to want them to learn or remember what they learned in jiu-jitsu? You know, I'm not showing them how to beat people up, but like if somebody's coming at you, you're going to know how to take them down. You're going to know how to stay on top, and you're going to know how to hold them down, you know?
Well, if you choke them out, it's not really a fight. You can't get in trouble. You didn't punch, you just choked them out.
I didn't say that.
That was my dad things, dude. He's like, not to throw him out, but his thing was like, hey, if you throw a punch, I'm going to throw a punch at you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you get into something, choke them out, don't get suspended.
Yeah.
He's like, because I work for the district, bro. Right. I'm not going to have you do that.
Yeah, and it's a lot different nowadays, you know, back when, in my day, you know.
Hey, you're 41, man.
Yeah, I know. We could scrap it out and everything would be cool. And just like, all right, shake hands, whatever. Now the cops are called, and then you got to do counseling and, you know, whatever. So I get that. You know, I don't want these kids, obviously, to get in trouble, but they are not going to get hurt. And that's the one thing. And I'm glad, like, all my parents, like, I'm so blessed to have the amazing parents on the team, but they all agree, you know. That's just a fact of life. You can, you know, have anti-bullying weeks as long as you want. It's never going to go away. You need to have these kids train jiu-jitsu, just like they're having to go to school, just like they have to brush their teeth. All of those things, like that's such an important aspect in their life. The football, the baseball, that's cool. Do that, but training martial arts is a non-negotiable.
Well, it's real life, because if you really think about it, in life, someone's always trying to take you out. Mm-hmm. Someone's always trying to knock you down, take you on your feet, and jiu-jitsu, wrestling, it teaches you one thing.
Yeah.
Get back up, stay off your back.
Let's go.
And let's go.
Yep.
Now kind of switching over to Andy, you're a head coach right now, or head instructor at your gym, but you were also a platoon, or how do you say, in
the military?
Yeah, in the military you were also a leader.
So I was a sergeant, yes.
Yeah, sergeant in the military. Mm-hmm. What kind of impact was it? Not only you're in a situation where you're the leader, but you also you're with these guys, making sure you guys stay alive. What kind of impact was that on yourself, and how did you make sure, even in the tough, because you've been through some tough situations too, in those situations, how did you make sure that these guys trust that they were going to make it out of this?
Basically, I would get down and dirty with my guys in training. You know, instead of just giving out orders, you get down and dirty with your guys. You do this. You do the work with them. You just don't bark orders. Okay, you lead. You know what I mean, and you have to put their needs before your own. You know what I mean? So like I said, when we're in Iraq, we worked together and we had our own little team. So I would try to keep the same guys when I would run lead vehicle up. I would try to keep the same people with me at all times. So we all knew each other's style. So I had my gunner, I had my driver. And after a while, you get to put that trust into them. Same thing, like my gunner knew how to work the computer as we're driving, or like same thing, like I would tell my driver, hey, go left. He knew automatically what I was going to say if we saw something in the road.
Everyone kind of was like on the same kind of goal,
We're on
same
the
mindset.
Same page, yep. Yeah, we're just there to stay alive. You know what I mean? Try to get the patrol through, try to get those contractors from one base, from point A to point B, safe as possible.
Yeah.
You know?
So I want you to get in this, because there was a situation when you were deployed where it kind of did seem like all your guys' lives were at stake.
Yes.
How did you even stay positive that, like, hey, we're going to make it out of this, and also kind of tell us what happened as well?
Okay, so I'll give you one story. This one I got blown up. One of the few times I was blown up in Iraq.
My dad was like, this man got 9 lives.
Yeah. So I got blown up a total of 7 times. Okay.
Oh crap.
Yeah. 2 direct on my vehicle. Either they went off right in front of my vehicle, right behind me. And
RPG?
Just roadside bombs.
Oh.
Roadside bombs. On one of them, I was clearing the roads. It was like 3:30 in the morning, and we're clearing the roads. We had the rest of the platoon behind us, and I'm about a kilometer out in front of everybody. And I'm like, my vehicle's lit up with spotlights, and I'm trying to find roadside bombs, anything not ordinary that's in the road. Okay, looking for wires, you name it. So I'm looking, and we had intel of a black box. Watch out for black boxes, blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden I see a black box. And as I'm going, I'm looking, I'm creeping up, nothing. I'm like, hey, so I announce it on the radio, we're clear, let's go. So as I'm going, I hear my gunner say, hey, and that was it. There was a blast hole on the right side, like a hole from an old IED. And as we continued on, I just see a flash. Our vehicles are like 12 tons. It went up in the air, and it came down. And that's all I hear. And I just felt hot air, heat, and I couldn't breathe. And as we continued on, we got hit by an IED. The pressure built up in the vehicle, and it blew our hatches open. And so we had no tires on the right side. Our guns were gone. Our 50 cal and our Mark 19, which is an automatic grenade launcher, and it's gone. There's nothing on the right side. And we just continued driving. And I had no radio comms, anything like that.
So you guys are out there alone, basically, no connection?
Well, everyone's behind us, but they saw the blast. Everyone could hear the blast, and they're trying to catch up to us. I'm trying to get out of the kill zone, which what I mean is, like, when there's a blast, sometimes they'll start shooting at us like an ambush. So I'm just trying to get out of the kill zone. And my gunner, he falls out of the gunner's hatch, and he's like, I wouldn't say screaming, but he's like, cussing, and I'm like, I look back and I could see our doors are wide open, and usually they would set up secondary bombs, and I had to tell him, like, dude, man up, shut the door, get out of there, shut the door. And he was hurting. I'm like, dude, shut the door, man up. And I look at my driver, and he's white as a ghost. He's trying to drive, and at the same time, he's screaming, and I'm like, Mungarai. His last name was Mungarai. Shut the fuck up. Shut the door. Tie it with some rope or something to protect yourself, because we have nothing. So he goes in, shuts it. And at the same time as we're driving, I see an old vehicle in the middle of the road. And I'm like, uh-oh. So we're driving, we go around it. And as we continue on, our vehicle just dies. It died maybe like 250 yards down the road. Sparks are coming out now. There's tranny fluid, fuel, and but trying to stay sane at that same time and trying to lead everybody out of the kill zone. I don't know. You just react. You know what I mean? It's just the training takes over.
Body takes over. Your body takes over. We've been trained forever.
Yes, pretty much. And it was just that. I remember coming in. The medic came. I didn't know I had a concussion at the time. I just remember getting up. I was dizzy. My ears were ringing. And And I remember they took us out and they medevaced us out to the nearest base. We're maybe like 5 miles out, so we didn't have to call a helicopter or anything. But we went straight over there. But yeah,
that's insane.
yeah.
So we're kind of going to take it back to your high school life.
Okay.
Do you think if you weren't, this is going to sound kind of weird, but if you didn't go through what you went through in the wrestling room and those lessons you learned, we'll just say it now, my dad. We'll just say it's out now, Coach Romero.
Yeah.
The lessons and kind of what he put you through in a way, do you think you survived those situations with the mindset you had before wrestling?
The mindset that he created for me in high school, it definitely helped me in the military. Helped me lead my troops. Helped me how to direct anything, you know.
I'm sure Mike Romero or Ed Carrasco probably had an impact.
Everybody, Ed Carrasco, Mike Romero, of course Augie, Joe Solorio, all these guys had an impact on my life. Let's go back to high school, and my sophomore going to my junior year, we would wrestle, right? And in order for me to get better, I had to play catch up. So everyone wrestled either their freshman year or they're already wrestling for years. So I had to play catch up. So I was consistently wrestling. And in order to get mentally tough, your dad would wrestle us. And your dad at the time was just, you know, he was always strong.
Old school.
Very old school. And he would like, you're not done wrestling till you get out of the bottom. And your dad, of course, was heavier than us, and he would just beat the crap out of us. Drop elbows, drop forearms in the back of our necks.
Yeah, because that's how wrestling. That's how it was back in the day, man. Yeah. It's that old school mindset. Win no matter what.
And he would like, if you're not moving on the bottom, he'd start flicking your ear, start pulling your ear, start like almost not punching you, but to get moving.
Love taps.
Yeah, he's giving you little love taps.
Lesson taps.
No matter how much you tried, you could not get out. I don't care. Until after a while, you're like, okay, when he gets tired, he's gonna get tired, and then he'll let you go. But all of a sudden, I would look at the clock, and I'm like, man, 30 minutes down on the bottom. I escaped maybe twice, and he's calling me back down again. So I've just that mental. It's hot. The room is hot. The heaters are on, and he would just put that pressure on you. You know what I mean? And then
just put you in that crappy situation.
Yeah, put it in this crappy situation. We'd wrestle people. We'd go to different high schools and wrestle to get better. And then going into my senior year, it's the same thing. Junior year into senior year, wrestling. And then, hey, you're on the bottom, and he would just beat you up.
And that's life too, man. Because like you think about it, think about how many times we feel like we've been hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And if you've never been there before, you either do two things. You either go south and it keeps getting deeper in the dirt, or you learn how to get up.
Yeah. No, that's it. And the same thing, we'll tell some stories later on in my military where I hit rock bottom. But
go into that right now. Go into that. What time do you think in your military life was actually hitting rock bottom?
Okay. So it was my second tour in Iraq. And like I said, I was getting, we came back. I was was with the engineer company. We saw the combat, getting blown up, stuff like that. So about 2 months out, 2.5, 3 months out, I call my ex-wife. Okay. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. So we would call every few days, and you could hear like a little disconnect on the phone. And so what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. She goes, I want a divorce. And I'm like, what?
Damn.
And I'm like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Because I would see
that's a crappy situation too.
Exactly.
Because you're basically fighting for your life at that point. Now you got to worry about this.
Yeah, I was like you said, I don't know if I had 9 lives. I don't know if I was lucky or unlucky being on the road. You know what I mean? But like I said, if it was your time, it's your time, right?
Yeah.
But I would watch other soldiers go through a divorce over there. Oh, so-and-so, his wife left him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that sucks. I'd be like, man, that sucks. But I would just keep driving on, I'm towards the end of my tour, and I get the phone call. I make that phone call, and I get that. And I'm like, what? And it just threw me off, literally threw me off, where I can't even barely function, And then you have to go back out on mission, and you can't even think. You're trying to concentrate on that road, consistently look. So I came back. From Iraq, got home, and I walked into my house. I had an empty house. I had no furniture, nothing like that. My kids were with my mom, and they would you know, they would still see me. When I got home, they were there for me and stuff like that. So, but when you go home and your home's empty, you're like, okay, where's your wife? You know what I mean? So went through a nasty divorce. And at that time, I didn't know I had PTSD at the time. You know what I mean? You think, hey, that person has a problem. I don't have the problem. That person has a problem.
It's hard to recognize for anyone. No, that's the thing. Like, especially learning from my dad, dealing with high school. There's a lot of people that don't even realize they have trauma.
Right. Exactly, man. And I was seeing a counselor, you know, for depression, stuff like that. But I'm like, this guy sucks. And I'd go see another doctor, and they'd give me another one. I'm like, this guy sucks. Then they would give me pills. I'm on pills for a little bit. And I'm like, being blah, it felt weird. Yeah. So I would just throw them out. And then I couldn't sleep. So I had sleep issues. I still have sleep issues to this day. And they'd give me Ambien. But if you know what Ambien does, after a while, you start like sleepwalking. So it was doing more harm than good. And I would wake up sometimes on the kitchen floor. There'd be food. And I'm like, I made food.
Of course there's food there.
You know, just stuff like that. I'd wake up in my garage.
Arby's.
Yes. No. So I was drinking. And I was going out. I was partying a lot. And sometimes I didn't want to do anything. I was just going to this depressed mode. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I didn't trust anybody. I had zero trust in anybody. My family, friends I came home to. All I had trust was, the only people I trusted were the people I deployed with. Those are the only people I trusted. And like I said, I'm at the bottom. I'm drinking. I'm partying. I'd go through a checkpoint, a DUI checkpoint, and I would fail it. But since I just came back from Iraq, they gave me the opportunity to, hey, you can get a ride. They wouldn't arrest me. And it kind of opened
giving you just was that just like one moment, like where is that like the moment where
it happened a couple times.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, it happened a couple times. I'm going out, instead I'm drinking, I'm getting in fighting bars, going to the little bars there, and I'm getting in fist fights. And I'm just going, I'm spiraling. And of course your dad comes, hey man, let's try jiu-jitsu. I knew a little bit. I'm like, man, I don't know, you know. So I just started going in to the one gym. That's where I met Phil, Manny, everyone's there. Mike's there, Ed Carrasco, everybody's there. And I started trying it. And since I used to do no gi, which isn't with a gi, this one was different. It was a gi. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. And
I still can't stand it. Like I hate, like even to this day, I've been out of it for so long. Even when I just mess around and like go back, I hate wearing a damn gi.
Yeah, yeah, man. It felt weird. You know, they're heavy. They make me itch and stuff.
Makes the weight cut worse because it adds another 3 pounds.
Exactly. But I would say at that time, because I was getting almost like suicidal, and I didn't want to live anymore. And if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, I'd probably be dead right now.
So essentially, jiu-jitsu is what has you here today.
Yes. Jiu-jitsu has me where I'm at right now.
That's amazing, man. And I got to say thank you for kind of being so open with that, because PTSD with military veterans is so huge. And especially as like I've done so much psychology work as for baseball. Men in general struggle with the idea of needing help, or even telling their stories about rough times, because we always want to look like the macho dude that has no issues. So I really appreciate you kind of being open, because I know that there might be someone watching right now who's a military veteran going through the same thing. And I know if you hear a story, it gives you hope. So I really appreciate you going deep into that.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
Do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Cool. And that's the ad break. We'll be right back after the last ad break. Thanks, man.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you got. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
Show is sponsored by D's Barbers, one of the best barbershops in town. With the weekend coming up, you're always trying to look fresh. Make sure you go check out my dude, Dave, at D's Barbershop, 1842 West Grant Road. Go check him out. Yeah. Okay, we are back. And then with my dad being a coach and my uncle Mike, those are two guys that had a real impact on wrestling in Arizona and Tucson in general. And there's a lot of stories that no one believes in. Like, for example, at my second job, I had one of my coworkers. We realized that we were actually in the same Sunnyside wrestling room when we were wrestling freestyle. And he found out who my dad was, and he found out who my uncle was, and he asked me a story and if it was true or not. My dad's never met these people. That's how far these stories are going in the wrestling world. So, Andy, tell us about the story when you tried quitting wrestling.
All right, so I tried to quit wrestling due to an incident. We won't bring that story up, okay?
Let's just say tough love.
Yeah, it was real tough love. And I was so frustrated. You know, you're 17, full of testosterone. You think you know everything, almost 18 years old. And so I was like, after that incident that happened the night before, I'm like, I quit. I'm never coming back here ever again. You know, one of those stories, you know, pulling like a Billy, you know, crying, I'm out of here. So I didn't tell my dad, you know. So next morning, we had morning practice at 6 a.m. and I'm asleep. And I'm like, oh, 6 o'clock. Oh, yeah, I quit. I'm going back to sleep. And it was about 6:15. I hear, doom, 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 knock on the door. And it was your dad. And my dad answers, he's getting ready to go to work. And he goes, hey, is Andy here? Yeah, he's asleep. I'll go and wake him up.
Oh,
and I was like,
get your ass up.
And I
Probably sounded all nice when he went in the door,
yeah, no,
too.
nice guy, you know. And your dad's very nice. Same thing when he was teaching. He was always that nice, cool teacher.
There's two, like, I'm the same way. There's two sides.
There's two sides.
There's like where you came from, because if you don't, freaking my dad being an ex-gangster, 1.6
Yeah.
GPA coming out of high school, there's that side.
Yeah.
Where he's just like macho man, I always mess with him.
Yeah.
And then there's his PhD side where he's super nice to everyone.
Exactly.
Hello, Dr. Romero.
Yeah, no, so really nice. And I'm like, oh, yeah, go right in down the hall. Go wake him up. I'm like, oh, boom, the light comes on. And same thing. Get up. Get ready. You're going to practice. I go, no, I quit. I hate you. Get up now. And I'm like, no, yeah, pretty much. I hate you. I don't never want to see you again. You know, stuff like that. And anyway, get up now. Get up. No, you're going to practice. And I don't want to tell my dad, like, I quit. So I'm like, oh, God, I got to get my stuff. So I go brush my teeth.
What was that car ride like going back to
It was
practice?
just quiet. I didn't say a whole, not one word to your dad. And I'm in the car ride all the way to Tucson High in the morning, mad, just pissed off. And I go to practice and I'm going through the motions, blah, blah, blah. And of course your dad's on me. And of course, if I tell my dad I quit, he's gonna be pissed. It's my senior year now.
Yeah.
So I just got over it. You know what I mean? And yeah.
You think about, I mean, that's when to give my dad credit, that's when you know you have a coach that cares.
Yes.
Because he's willing to, I mean, nowadays, man, you can get in trouble for that, freaking showing up to the kid's house.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, that just showed he's caring. And then especially kind of hearing from my dad, man, he cares about you a lot.
He cares. He does. It's like I even reached out to him when I was in the Middle East doing my situations. And I said he cared a lot.
Yeah.
He was always there for me.
He's there for everyone.
Yep.
Kind of switching back to Phil. So there was a time where Mike Romero, Eddie Carrasco, my dad weren't in the original academy.
Yeah.
What kind of impact did they have to your game as soon as they got there?
Taught me wrestling, man. Taught me how to fight with, like, kind of what Andy was saying. It's, you know, wrestling and jiu-jitsu are two different things. You know, wrestling is smash your face in, don't stop, always going forward. Jiu-jitsu is, smooth and flowy, the gentle art. So
less cheating with oil checks or finger things or whatever.
Yeah. So I didn't know that smash side yet. So when they came, oh man, they just first of all taught me how to wrestle. Number one, for fighting, but just the mentality of I'm gonna hurt whoever's in front of me. So I mean. I tell everybody to this day, I wouldn't have that aggressiveness without those guys being my training partners. So huge impact.
Which one? If you had a choice, which one would you? If you're going 2-on-2 with someone, out of those three, who would you want? Because they're all different, man. God. Eddie's a little bit smooth. Yeah. Mike's, I call him the Mad Titan sometimes. Yeah. Then my dad, he looks like a little brown M&M, but he's dangerous.
I don't know, man. I probably have to pick your pops, man, just because he'll be swinging and dropping fools. So would all of them would. You know what? Any one of them. I'd be cool with either one of them. So, that's a good question.
That's awesome. So going back to you guys are both head instructors. And in a way, your stories are similar. Why you got how you became a head instructor. I know you used to have a job, and all of a sudden that goes out. And the same thing with you. Just tell me a little bit about those stories and how you became head instructors, and also why you wanted to get your own gym, because it's a challenge sometimes.
Yeah. So I've told the story a lot. So I'm a Southside kid. I was grew up on 12th and Ajo, right? And so back in the day when
so did you go to Pueblo too? Or?
No, I went to Tucson High.
Okay.
I was a Badger, man.
Heck yeah. All Badgers here.
What? As I'm training and going through the belt ranks and stuff like that, I always wondered, like, hey, what would happen if I had my own gym, especially on the South Side, because the South Side is, there's some tough people out there, man.
It's different.
You got Pueblo wrestlers, you got Sunnyside wrestlers, there's just a different breed, on the South Side. So I was like, man, that's going to be some killers down there if I ever opened up a gym. So, I finished college. I went into NAU and, I got a real job, I guess you can say, a real 9-to-5, and then paid well, But I was traveling a lot, out of state or out of city and stuff. And I didn't get to train too much like I wanted to. So it was affecting my jiu-jitsu, like just my love. I always loved jiu-jitsu, obviously. So, basically what happened was they were moving my position to another city, and they're like, hey, you got to move. And I'm like, no, I don't. So
like, after that, I'm doing my own thing now.
And at that time, my wife and I had Enzo. So I'm not going to move my whole family to another city, So I was like, what? Let's just look around, see what happens, see what the numbers are. Boom, 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 boom. And found a spot. Perfect spot. Like before I even opened, I had 50 people already pre-registered to sign up. So I was like, man, this is going to be pretty good. So tiny little spot, and
it was like 800 square foot. At first,
950, man. It was just this tiny little, And I still have students that were there since day one, and much love to them, much appreciation to them for staying with me. But yeah, man, and here we are. Never look back. 7 years later, got an awesome gym. Close to 300 students.
It's incredible what you're doing, because if not many people know this, man, you're always bringing back trophies.
Yeah,
we had you. We had that highlight tape, and the end of it, you see all the trophy you guys had.
Yeah,
state championships. I mean, and then I know your kid program is through the roof right now.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of things in, I would say, a short amount of time. You got the local tournaments, you got the state tournaments, you got the national tournaments. I mean, we do well in all of those. Even though he's still Andy's has his own team now. He's still my student. And he just won the world championship. Yeah. That's an amazing feat. You know what I mean? So on the national stage, we do well. Our kids won just the Jiu-Jitsu Con tournament that just happened a couple weeks ago. We have some kids that medaled gold, silver, and bronze. Same with adults, And then, our state championship titles, I'm trying to think, and I hate to, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but there's no Tucson teams that have ever won a state championship for kids or adults. you know.
Because Tucson, like people don't realize, Tucson was nowhere close to being an elite in jiu-jitsu for a while.
Not even close. It was always the Phoenix teams. And it's just because the culture of the academies have changed. Like back then, you could be a 9 to 5 person and have a jiu-jitsu gym. You're tired, you just got out of work, and then you got to go teach.
Not today anymore.
Can't do that.
So you said something, and I want to get to this real quick because I know you have your gym too, and you have that story. But how does it feel to be a effing world champion, man? That's the thing. Like you think about sports and everything. Yeah, national championships or whatever. Cool. You're a freaking world champion, brother. What does that even sound like to you?
It hasn't really. I guess I'm humble. I don't know.
First, let me say this. I'm sorry. This dude wanted to quit before he went out there.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna do it, man. I'm not ready. I said, what? Get your
Did you tell
ass
my
out
dad
there.
that too or no?
No,
Smart.
I was just. I don't. Like I said, it still hasn't hit. It still hasn't hit me yet. And like I said, I signed up 3.5 weeks before the tournament.
Were you training or?
I was teaching and just rolling, you know. But I was like, okay, I need to get in shape. And so I get a hold of your dad and Mike. I go, hey, I need to get I got 3.5 weeks. I know it takes your body to get in shape. 3 weeks, we grind. So I need to get on a plan. So we created a plan, and I was training in the mornings, training in the evenings. He goes, but don't overtrain. You're old now. You're 47. So in the evenings, I would just flow with my students. And that actually helped me out a lot because I'd get some of the females, and they would just move on me. Move. And I was just using technique, trying to keep scrambling. And then in the mornings, at Phil's, I would train, you know, I'd grind. I'd have Kenny there, Kenny Kempton. He's a world champion, and he's just beating me up.
Big Harold.
Harold's scary, man.
From Brick House. They'd come in and just beat me up. And I was getting frustrated. Yeah, they're bigger than me, but I'm like, oh, man, I'm not ready, blah, blah, blah. But it was funny. I was kind of like manifesting. So I had a buddy who was kind of like messaging me every day. World champion 14 days. World champion 13 days. World champion 12 days.
Was it Manny?
No, it was my buddy Dave Lamb in Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was telling me this. And then I was like, I feel like I'm a week off. And I was getting frustrated. And I'm like, man, what's wrong with me? I'm like, oh. Then the brackets come out. And I'm like, oh, the brackets. I'm like, oh. I'm at the back of the bracket. I have to go
bottom
into
seed.
The last seed.
You were the last seed?
I was the last
seed, bro.
seed.
How many were in your bracket?
27?
Yeah. So 32-man bracket.
I needed to cover this more, man. Freaking, you're a dark horse in that, basically.
And then Phil's like, oh, man, just, you're out there, you're fine. I'm like, I'm not fine. I was getting mad, you know. But then it wasn't until like 3-4 days before, I'm like, all right, I know how to wrestle. I know how to grapple. I'm going out there to grapple. That's it. Going out there, one match at a time. And I remember talking to your dad, and he's like, man, I'm in the bottom seed. I got to go back into it. I got to go all the way through. And he's like, you're thinking the wrong way. You got to, so he was getting my head straight.
Yeah, that's when his voice gets louder, but it's like, you can tell he's yelling, but his voice like kind of gets higher in a way. That's when you know, like, oh crap, should probably listen.
Yeah, listen. And it wasn't until about that Monday, I come into practice, and Phil's like, hey man, how do you feel? I go, I feel good. Okay, I'm on. I feel good. And like I said, I just coasted it out. That Wednesday, right before I left, I want to get professionally stretched out by Dr. Bernal. and right before I left, just I had to feel, you know what I mean? I had to be loose. Yeah. And then that Thursday, usually I get nervous. I get extremely nervous. The moment I step into a gym or a tournament, I see everyone moving around. I hear the yelling, the coaches screaming at their athletes. And I'm like, oh, man. Usually my legs go weak. The nerves are going through me.
You pee yourself a little bit?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I remember that.
No, that's how I was. And, like I said, we had a lot of coaches that are part of Paragon. They do a lot of mindset training. And Coach Brenda, a couple of years ago, she, pretty much just put it in your head. You believe in yourself, stuff like that. And anyway, to make a long story short, I walked in, I wasn't nervous. Like I felt, let's get, I felt a little like anxious. Let's go. I want to get it over with. I go to the tournament and I'm stretching out. And the one thing I hate is when your opponents come up and talk to you.
Hey, friend.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
buddy.
annoying.
Hey, buddy.
So he's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, we're going up against each other. And I'm like, oh, man, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? But I'm stretching out, and I know the first round, I got to pull the trigger. What I mean is not be passive. I need to get after it. And like I said, that resorts back to wrestling, high school wrestling. I need to go out there and I need to score. And that's what I did. I went out there to score right away, took the guy out, you know what I mean? Second round, won. Third guy, barely won. Fourth guy took the, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I'm in the finals.
So it was 5 matches in one day?
Yes, 5 matches and like 5-10-minute rest.
Yeah.
Next match, 5-10-minute rest. Next match, 5-10, you know? So that's how it was.
Freaking world champion, man.
World champ.
That's
man.
awesome. So that's we're getting close on time, real quick. Before we leave, I want you guys to shout out your guys' gym. Tell them where they can find you guys. You're in Nogales. You're in South Tucson. So let us know.
The Irie BJJ. We're right there in Irvington and I-19 next to Texas Roadhouse. Check us out on the gram, on Facebook. Irie BJJ.
All right, Nogales Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right there off of behind the IHOP, off of Mariposa Road. You guys are in Nogales. Come check us out, man.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys. Like I said, thank you for all the love and support, especially with me doing the updates and football games. Thank you guys. I'm loving this. I'm living the dream. I'll see you guys Friday at the Choya versus Pueblo game. Peace out, guys. Thank you guys.